Liquid did, it wasn't good enough.
To be fair, Yekinder here has a little bit of an oopsie moment. Like, he realizes he's got one down to right and he's looking for a second kill. Unfortunately for him, Process looks to the left. I'm not going to fault Yekinder on that too
Not
much.
at all.
I understand what he was going for. But what I wanted to say is, on the side of Big, it is close to perfection in the first few steps of that round. There is every single element that they need to have for a good execute. There is a good pop flash onto OC that leaves the angle. Then there is a double peek, which means Rainwaker is dead. There is the right Molotov, the right utility. Then there's a double peek into connector. Everything they could do right, they did, which is my point exactly. That was a good round played for Big. And yes, Liquid had a couple of advantages, couple moments, but all in all, it's the Germans well playing well here.
Isn't that, you know, contextually kind of surprising when we're talking about Big, because we know they've had, you know, a couple of different rosters participating at different events. I don't expect them to be coming into this matchup with that same synergy as a team who, you know, is a bit more cemented in terms of the roster.
No, I would agree with that. Team Liquid is also a new team, let's be honest. Yekinder coming in, game leading, Rainwaker still being integrated into the lineup, so it's not like Liquid is this unit that you can't really screw with in that sense. I expect Big to be well prepared in the sense that we know that the 1, 2, 3 steps are going to be good. No, that's how it's always been, you know. It's always been the individual firepower that's been lackluster within Big. The flashes, the preparation coming into game, that's what we always highlighted. That's part of the Big DNA, and I think we got to see that in this game against Team Liquid.
Yeah, you speak about individual firepower, rather. We've got to throw Sin's name into the ring. We don't know whether he's calling on this map or maybe the size of this map. I don't know. Maybe James can ask in maybe the winner's interview, perhaps the loser's interview. But yeah, let's roll some Sin highlights because he was having a field day on Mirage.
Yeah, and to bounce back on what Jacob was talking about, the Big of old, the one whose lineup we knew and they had for a while. Sure, I think they had a couple of moments where on maps they had a few good little ideas and they were well organized. This team is not even a team right now. They've made major roster changes just to show up at the end of the break, to play with Mantu, to now play with Sensei. This is the furthest away you can be to being organized. It's the furthest away you can be from having a plan that you execute, which is why it's so impressive. They had to rely on individuals. They had to rely on unclear situations, mid-round clutches, moments where how on earth would they get the best out of Yekinder, Naf, these types of players. That's why it's so surprising. This was a good organized FPL game. That's how it looked like on Mirage.
Jacob, I'm going to ask you to hold that thought because we do have James who's checked in with the coaches on the sideline. So James, how are the teams feeling after that crazy Mirage?
Well, I was able to catch up with Liquid's Dabs, and he said, honestly, they couldn't hold A when it came to Mirage, but we saw that throughout the game. It was some struggles for sure. I asked him about some of the frustrations we were seeing on the cameras as well. He said in-game, it didn't seem too much like that, but obviously, for Big, there's no pressure on them. But they shouldn't be losing a game like this when you think the situation's Big's in right now. Now, the official games when it comes to Liquid on Overpass, okay, yeah, doesn't look too great, but he's saying they feel confident on this map. They should be able to close this one out now. But right now, when you go up against a Big who's this fired up and this hyped up, I'm a little bit worried for Liquid, and I think they should be as well. Let's see how it goes for it.
Yeah, and what we've seen of Liquid on Overpass hasn't looked too great, but then it's, you know, the lesser of two evils. Who's going to be looking worse coming onto this Overpass?
I mean, for my money, it's still going to be Team Liquid being the favorites. As much as I want to praise Big for saying they played a good second half of that T side, Team Liquid played like a bunch of noobs for the vast majority of that time. I think James said it here as well. They couldn't hold the A-bomb side. They tried to stack 4 players on the A-bomb side, 3 out of the last 5 rounds, and they lost every single round on that bomb side. So as much as you want to say it, sure, it's well played by Big, but it's horrendous for Team Liquid. A lot of pressure on them right now, a lot of pressure on towards OC, especially when you consider it's Overpass. It's a map that he needs to find impact on, and I don't think he had that impact on Mirage. And I think that's a massive issue right now for Liquid. They don't have that one player who's going to step up every single game that we can rely on, and for me, that's why I'm doubting whether or not Liquid will actually lose now.
I'm so ready to dream for Big. I'm so ready, honestly. I had the same feeling after map 1. I mean, it was a Liquid W, but it did not feel convincing at all. It felt like the door was wide open for Big to kind of squeeze and seize the opportunity. They did the same. Now on Mirage moving to Overpass, I just think some of the Liquid's player will have to do more than what they have been currently. I mean, a man like Patsy was going to be put in the forefront of that defense. You talk about OC struggling. He has to do more. He has to be more disruptive. He has to be the Yekinder of Vertigo. That's what you're hoping to see, because Yekinder is going to take a step back, play a bit more rotation-based. So some of these Liquid players have to just show us they're better than their opponent.
Well, I mean, if it's going to happen anywhere for Big, it's going to happen in Germany, right? Wouldn't that be romantic? We're going to see if they can live at that fairy tale run, but it does come down to the third and final deciding map of Overpass. That's going to be coming your way after this short break.
Clan, the champions of ESL Pro League.
Poland's here. Oh my god! Girl, are you gonna be kidding me? What a map! What a map!
Counter-Strike 2. Let's pretend there's some patches. Let me know if they sound like ridiculous ideas or if they're interesting. First one, a map pool patch. After each major, one map will be taken out of the pool and a new one gets added.
I like that.
Yeah, I think that's been discussed, right? Like there's an idea.
I think it's good. I think it's a really good idea. Like there is always a rotation.
You like it? It's gonna be more dynamic, right? I think even for the viewer, it's good to see new maps, don't you think? Like, it's always the same.
Mix things up a little bit quicker. You guys as well, you like the idea of a new map every major?
Yeah, I think yes. But I think it would only work if like the major would be the last tournament in the season.
I think they've made that change.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay, so it could work.
So now it can work.
Yeah. That makes sense. Okay.
Well, I think right now they don't change a lot. Don't you think? Like the rotation is not switched for how long?
There's no set time to it. It just changes.
Yeah. They just change randomly. I think if they put like a schedule to change every 3 months or 6 months would be pretty good.
Every player break would be nice, but it's difficult to make that happen. But
what map would you guys pick to come back in, just out of curiosity? Cobble people, train people, train,
Cobble,
Cobblestone plans.
And for me personally, Cash.
I would vote maybe for Cash.
I want Season back.
I do too.
Season was there, the start ECAA like pucks, and I love that map. I think it was very good.
I literally played like one puck on that map.
I never played that.
And Train also good, but I would rate Cash more than Train.
Okay, cool.
What about Tuscan? No love for Tuscan?
I love Tuscan.
Bro. Yeah.
Tuscan and Train, I would like.
Train.
Ooh.
Train is a good one.
I kind of miss Train. I used to be a Train hater, but I kind of miss Train.
I'm confident and like familiar with like being a loud voice in the team, and now especially with Tubs, I feel like it's not a huge change for me. Like day by day it's getting better, and now I feel comfortable to improve in this role also. I noticed, hey, I don't need to be like as vocal as I used to be in the last games, for example, so I can like switch it up, but overall I feel like I can be like maybe a hype man that sometimes I can do with my teammates.
is your calling.
Welcome back to the IEM Cologne play-in. Right now, we've got Team Liquid and their new European squad built to be contenders, having a troubling time, having a struggling time against Tabson's ragtag bag of boys, as Big on home soil look to upset this series on Overpass and try and eliminate Liquid from the competition. Winner will go forth to face 9 to fight for one more spot in that group stage at Cologne. Who's it going to be?
We're about to find out. Team Liquid starting things off on the CT side. They're going to have to dig deep as they just gave away a massive lead on their map pick at Mirage. It was them in the driver's seat with the chance to close this out 2-0. and everything now hangs in the balance of overpass. Big on the other side of it, you know, nothing but credit to give. I really like what the desk had to say. It didn't really feel like it was about Liquid playing worse. It felt like Big really did up the level there as we battled through Mirage. Let's see if they can finish it off that way. Let's see if they can keep up appearances here. As we get into the pistol round, Big are already spread out down the long side. They've got one man moving in through the bathrooms. This is an A play where the Team Liquid like it or not. It's a bit of a smoke block for Patsy, and he's teed up with a flash, but no love for it. Nothing found on that peak. This one ends up 4v4 as Big move in.
Everyone jumps off that flash, so he can't hit a headshot. Smoke down with a gap, gives Process a way in. Yekindra knocks him out, and Rainmaker will not wait for this bomb to get planted. He goes flooding in over the truck, leaving just Crimbo in a clutch. He falls, and Liquid will take that pistol round quick and cleanly. It's a scary map if you go off the numbers. Obviously, you can't look too deeply into them, but a map that Liquid played twice back in Copenhagen. They lost it both times pretty dominantly as well. Whereas Big won both their games, albeit with a different roster and that same competition. So, the numbers aren't great, but Cologne. With a pistol round in the pocket, Big take a near full eco. Already coming in with a lot of plays, a lot of flash pushes.
I think you have to. You know, you have to regain that confidence to open up this map, because if you came into it trying to play this how Mirage ended, like you're done. You know, like you can say goodbye to the hopes of making it to the groups. So it's nice to see that they're. Oh, he's on for all of them. Go on, there we are, Yekindra. Lovely anti-eco from him, money made.
The one mag MP9 ace.
Very cleanly done. Don't often see them look that pretty with the MP9. Normally there's a lot more, you know, W holding, jumping, spraying, the full 9 yards, but not from Yekindra. Even just like the awareness of where these peaks were coming from on what timings was very pretty.
Well, we've got the gun round now for Big. Liquid still running bonus, but they've got OC and Orb. They've funded it up, and he's going for the aggressive long peak. Meanwhile, Big very fast through the connector. Patsy not going to get cleared. He's the one to swing in. He's been keen. It was the downfall near the end of Mirage, some of those CT peaks back behind Ticket. They don't know about OC. They find out the hard way. The bomb doesn't want to go back and trade those, so Big just opt to group up for a B execute. Limited util, smoke flash, and Liquid 3 strong in the site.
Right place. Time for Yekindra. He's going to look to tee up his teammates here. Over towards the monster side, he creeps in, and there's Rainmaker with a peek, but they're already ahead of this smoke. Alarm bells going off for Liquid now as they realize the B play's coming in. Naf drops that flash, does a bit of damage, but can't get anything more from it. It's all gonna fall onto OC's Orb. Gonna hang around and see if they give him a reason to go for it, and that one kill there just might tempt OC forward. Is he going to decide against it? Feels like he's backing out. Does not want to give this one a go. Oh, every bone in your body almost wants to see him attempt this, but playing the long game, playing the safe game at Team Liquid.
Yeah, also knowing the Big won't have their own AWP, and this is the guarantee to make sure that stays the same. You've done economical damage. They won't be able to buy it up, and OC can keep the good times rolling, you hope, on the CT side moving forward. Player the desk drew attention to, someone who needs to perform in this third map, considering not just the stakes, but the situation of CT overpass, which is where Liquid are starting. Up there with Nuke in being the best places to be as an AWP player. OC needs to show us.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think OC is one of these players where whenever you see the heights that you can't reach, you just wish that's what you had all the time, you know, and you don't always get it. And, you know, in the past, when we had him first join Liquid, it was a crisis of confidence, right? It was an issue of, his teammates would often say, he knows what he has to do, he knows the kind of responsibilities for him and what he should be doing, but he just has those little doubts eating away at him. And then we saw a convincing looking Liquid, for example, back at Katowice, and it felt like maybe that put a little bit of, you know, wind in his sails.
Even back at Rio and also in Paris, OC was very loud, he was screaming, he was injecting a lot of energy towards the end of the last Liquid roster, which was a great sign. Rainwaker, he's a dead man walking, double naded, they're too blind to clear, and Process will have to trade, but stuck out on the pillar, he finds 3 kills on the entry, and Liquid are locked out yet again. An AWP save for Yakinda, even though OC lost his in the site. And Big managed to do it again, breaking their way with a quick B pop. I'm liking the early executes for Big. They started to do a lot more of that on Mirage. It was something that felt lacking on Vertigo. Even if it is was a one-hit wonder on that A site, it got them that second map. Sensei's gotten an orb.
And yeah, just to kind of delve back into the OC, you know, I think this has to be where we see him deliver here, or it's just because, you know, when Liquid were out in NA, there was kind of this idea of you don't really have a massive pool of players to choose from if you want an AWP, right? And OC was the kind of guy who'd shown the highest level and had the most promise. But I think with this move to Europe for Liquid, there is going to be this feeling now that that pool has deepened, right? You're not this invulnerable player who you kind of can give that space to develop, right? So even little thoughts like that are things that come into play. I want to see OC get to don that big green again soon. For now, it's just these saved guns. Yakinda will have one though. Is he going to look to use it? Over towards B. Boost up. Nice time for a gimmick like this to find a man advantage, right? You know that that's not something that Big should be ready for, and now you make out like bandits in the big Liquid game. It's a Sea of Thieves, and it's Liquid plundering down towards water.
Yeah, but they let them escape. I feel like Sing could have that kill. He just knows he has now good timing to walk into A, but he's not ready for another boost. They are really using every trick in the book, our Liquid, to make this rifle sing, but it will not survive the cross back into the site. Naf has a USP here as Big enter onto A. This is a little awkward for Liquid, who may have started 5v3, but are by no means favored now. Rainwaker's picked up one of those guns, but if it's not a default plant, there's very little he can do.
Yeah, this is kind of nice for Liquid though, because they're teed up in a way where they can attempt this. If they're given a reason to go for it, everyone is here, and this could be the kill. OC with the backstab. They're going to lose Rainwaker, but what a time for OC to find his voice. A double kill from Long on the vanilla pistol, and now it's just Process in the hot seat, looking for the 1v2. Oh, shot misses, but Yakinda makes up for it. And so once more, another clutch going the way of the captain of Team Liquid.
Not an easy close for Yakinda. Process was ready to win that 1v2. Hit a banger onto OC, and Yakinda missed his first orb shot. He had to hit it. One more bullet, and he's done for. So very important eco win for Liquid. Starts off very strong thanks to Patty's double off the boost. But OC with 2 USP kills on the flank, that will inspire you once again.
And that was actually a really cool round from Team Liquid. A really nice way of making the most out of the 2 guns that you saved forward. Going for a double gimmick in one round, right? You boost the AWP up, the rifle up in con, and then you boost it back at the side on a site. 2 angles that Big shouldn't be ready for, and at best are playing for trades in, but you never gave them that chance. Very cool idea. I would love to know who was in charge of orchestrating that, because you assume it was going to come down to Naf and Rainwaker, you know, playing off of one another, making that decision. This round's opened up quite nicely for Liquid once more as they flash themselves out through short. They've taken away some very important real estate. Once you've got this room, you can really paint a clear picture of where Big can be in the round. And so either Big have to go back and try and retake water and connect her a little bit later, or they just play with the real estate they have, but that gives them a few less options in the mid-round, such as this, you know, fast rotate down the connector if they want to get tricky with the bomb. So they are going to re-clear it. But this takes time, and this takes resources as well.
Could have even making the read as well. Patty's just dropped down lower. It's 4 strong on B. They know what's worked for Big. This has been the way in. Is poised with a flash as well. 20 seconds, it almost feels obvious at this point. A is completely empty. OC's even deep peeked the bomb site, so 20 seconds as Big lay up and execute. Liquid just have to hit their shots and combine with a flash as well. Naf swings out for a kill, taking 2 and the bomb loose as well. The molly burns out 1, but Sensei doesn't have the time on the clock. He must abandon ship, and Liquid hold on to the B site for a change. 4-2 now. Off the back of that eco win, coming in with an even more competitive round, one where they actually profit as well. Very important to build up their money early on the CT side, so OC can continue to field AWPs. And that is all the Big have in this follow-up round. 2K a player and the saved orb.
So it's just going to be a game of, you know, in the same way when Liquid saved those 2 guns and they were assembling boosts to try and give themselves an edge. Right now, if you're Big, you want this orb to go out, try get contact, try open up rounds, get you a bit of space, maybe even get you a gun if you're lucky. You know, you can arm these ecoing players that are around the orb, and then if it ends up coming down to the wire, suddenly you have kind of a series of bodyguards, living decoys, whatever you want to call them, to draw the attention away and make that orb a bit more dangerous. So I like how Big are trying to use Sensei right now. It's giving him a lot of room to go and seek his fortune with the AWP.
It's just the setups aren't really giving away any kills. His best option is catching someone jump spotting on A site. They might give him that. He's going for a little hop right now. As soon as you spot the orb, you don't go back for more.
And because Sin makes contact first, there's now a route open to exit for Patsy out long. He doesn't actually have to stay in the toilets fighting for this.
Oh, OC's on the angle. Sensei might just walk right in. Patsy goes hunting for more. Onto the pistol, they're everywhere. It's big info at least, but Big have now been armed, and OC has dropped that orb, importantly so. Can even try and hold on to it by going a little bit more aggressive. He'll know that process has grabbed the gun. His shot. OC now owns the angle. There's no getting out of here alive. 20 seconds, fighting for survival. Process hits a second, and OC drops the bomb once more. They've read this well. Crimbo's coming in on the flank, and Liquid will not allow it to happen. 2 clean rounds in a row. Liquid are back for now. Can be so hard to break in on this T side of Overpass. It's actually Big to even call in attack timeout.
Yeah, you know, I think the challenge was always going to be harder for Big here. When the desk were on earlier, they said that at times it felt like a highly organized FPL game watching them on Mirage. And, you know, I think for Big, they turned that into a strength, right? They did just use brute force in a lot of those rounds. They went A, they rinsed, repeated that till it stopped working, and it never stopped working. Whereas here, you know, there's a lot more options open to Liquid, and I think it requires a much more synergized T-side, right? Overpass at times is just a test of how good your defaulting is, how good your trading is, and how quickly you're able to react to this information to make something of it. And those shouldn't be strong points for Big.
But they're making it work anyway. And honestly, the firepower has been there all series. Different players in different maps. It was Process on Vertigo. Sin topped the charts on Mirage, but Sensei wasn't far behind. Tabson had some incredible rounds, including a crucial ace. Themselves just setting up for a boost, but look at the timing of Patsy re-clearing connector late in the round. Even if they're holding it to Mac 10, the Molly decides it, but they go swinging into Rainwaker, and Patsy needs his backstab right now.
Yeah, one kill, but he's boxed in. Crosses out with his life.
Dear.
However, OC's blindsided, trying to watch short. That is kind of awkward, honestly. OC is given an impossible task, really. Playing around the pillar, he had to try and watch the short walkout while also being cognizant of Monster. Naf was unable to help him much in this battle. So now looks to make up for it by moving in, but he ends up feeding big. Another kill. Patsy out from heaven. It's a pretty swift reposition from the connector, so they're not ready for it. Oh, and he even adds another to the tally. Sensei tapped out. It's just Tabson. Has to stand and deliver for big. Back on Mirage, you could rely on him. He would offer up these swing rounds, but here he's tagged up.
He's done
Finishes off your Kinder, and there isn't time for Patsy. Plays ahead of the smoke. He's going to get on the bomb, and Liquid will grab that round.
He grabbed the kit from Naf's body. Tabson was sitting on one. I thought that would be the only in the sight. And Patsy, who hits some bangers out from heaven, grabs the kit, grabs the smoke, forces the swing, and wins out the round for Liquid. 4 kills from the guy. What a round. This reposition, just to give him only a headshot angle to Sensei on the orb. Begging for the repeat. And Tabson, that was a must-win round to keep big afloat in this map. And T-side success will have to come late, as they are left again to pistols, and OC's even taking a spot. They'll find that second kill. Will get out of dodge. Patsy has his cross. OC looking renewed right now. As he hears the next man. Nice kills in middle. It's only this AK for Crimbo.
He's going to have a lot of fights. From the connector, that backstab can be immediate. Sure, you know, it's mostly just running out there, but still does well to keep a cool head on his shoulders, right? Doesn't give anything away. You end up falling in something they haven't got to play with. That is a very scary round. Just holds his own, has support moving around the connector and the bathrooms with him. They keep that very controlled. This is at least reassuring right now, because, you know, Mirage was just big brutalizing a lifeless Liquid for the most part.
I just don't want to get ahead of myself, because in both of these previous maps, it's big late activating. Anti-flash into middle, but there's 4 players on the wall there. Kimdo picks them off as they try and retreat, and he knows there's more in store. Reflash, repeat, and easy done for the captain. Liquid definitely looking a lot more comfortable here on Overpass. They roll back from Mirage. Moses is here, that's having a middle, but the bomb is about to be Kinders.
Yeah, if you're close to side, there's a part of you that just doesn't believe he's mad enough to do this, but it's Yukindo, of course he is, right? He really loves just getting the drop on the opposition. He loves those angles where, you know, the reactions you're getting a player's having to hit some 90-degree flick on you. He makes life very easy for himself in that round and goes on a real tear. Sat pretty up top of the board is the captain of Team Liquid. Leading by example, as it were. And I mean, now, you know, alongside him, you have actually Patsy up on the board, right? Getting involved early. These two, there's some similarities between how they like to approach it, the mind that they have for their individual approach to the game. And so you have these two players that like to harass you, that like to be involved in the opening fights, both finding a lot of success for Liquid right now. And that is going to exasperate some of these problems for Big. Even on Mirage, they would normally hinge on winning one of these opening fights and then using that to snowball the round out of control. There's a certain comfort that comes from being 5v4 up. You know that Liquid aren't going to take as many risks.
Right here on the A side. He's been very good on these anti-ecos. He's taken multi-kills near about OC's right now watching long. This could get very awkward. He's binded off. They're going to clear him. He turns around, but it's only one this time. OC's forced to concede the site, as Liquid might have to finally play a retake on top. They've already got a flank, and they've got the manpower.
Naf dealing with the toilet component is huge. It really removes all the options from playing around the bomb, and now Sin is just stuck brawling in the site, and he is isolated, alone at long, and finished off by Yakindar. Great timing on that wraparound up through the connector from Nafly. It made that so easy. It went from being around that, you know, maybe Big could have made interesting. If they're allowed to back up, play around the bomb, suddenly time's against you, and there's a lot of pressure on that situation. It's all kind of alleviated when they lose those post-plant players over in the toilets, and that's thanks to Nafly. You know, got to draw attention to it as well, because we've been singing his praises all day. I think Sensei's done a very good job of rising to the occasion here for Big. Really, you know, upping his level, looking good, but he's had a very rough start to open up Overpass, a map where Orb is king.
Liquid are not really giving him any opportunities right now. They're playing their fullbacks very nice on A. OC has been spotted here, but has rarely been playing this far forward, often in the toilets or back on bomb site. So Sensei's options for picks have not really been there. Rainwaker, only jiggling monster at a most. But yeah, it's not a good time for him to go a bit cold. Big have had no real B-short control either in these last few rounds, going for a lot of top hits. And now Liquid have established a really nice crossfire in this position. With no flashes, just going to walk in, and Patty wins his fight out. They can try and hunt him down, but there's two CTs in position, and Patty and Naf make it look pretty, putting Sensei in a very uncomfortable clutch. And yeah, Liquid have played very safe in this CT side. They just run away. That's a wallbang out of nowhere from Yakindar. So there's not even a way for that Orb to get warmed into this T side. 10-2 right now. Another timeout for Big. They are running out of time here in the play-in.
Yeah, I went and had a look at Sensei's stats on this map for Big Academy, and it is one that he's pretty hit and miss on, you know, even within the Academy squad. And so here in the big leagues, it's that much more punishing. Any unforced errors will be punished immediately by Team Liquid. And a lot of these opening moves that we've seen attempted, as you say, have fallen on deaf ears. So what's the solution now for Big? Your Orpa is not creating that space. Few key players having gone quiet. This is the true test for Tabson and his merry men.
Yeah, it's the top two for the previous map, who are, you know, 1 and 3 kills respectively. So it's not a great time for Big, but it's not really just come down to, you know, the lack of fragging potential, if you want to put it like that. Liquid are playing very solid CS, not overstepping the mark, not making too many plays.
Even that's a little awkward. That mid-molly that Sensei just threw, it's meant to land just a tiny bit deeper through part. It's not a problem in this round. He won't get punished for it, but we'll have to see if that's something he looks to throw again, because it's not landing correctly. Naf, full blind, still going to take him out of the round. And Big, their attempt to pick up the pace a little on B rests on the shoulders of Tabson. He will deal with Yakindar, and he has opened up this play into the B site.
Patty's still waiting for lurkers on A, but OC's dropped in. They've only seen Tabson. He's now been joined by his entire squad in the bomb site. Bomb plant will allow Patty to run a rotation. OC probably further than they're ready for, but with this smoke down, Big will consider the water as an option, and they'll trade that kill out. Oh, Patty, it's not pretty, but he now knows where they both are, and it doesn't matter. Sensei will have his time in the sun and take an exit to end the round. Big looking for 5 on the half. They've at least found 3. B has been the way in. The opposite of that of Mirage. All of their rounds on this B bomb site.
This This whole experience for Big has been a bit of an exercise in problem solving on the fly, and they've got big problems to solve. If they're able to do it in a 5-round half, that is very much recoverable, that is very much salvageable. So they've got to hold on to those little things right now to keep them in this. Tyson certainly seems to think it's a possibility.
And they've got the boost ready, so they can just chill on this little perch for a minute, see if Liquid reposition. And while they did, it's a whiff spray for Crimbo. Kinder comes out with the goods, and OC follows up as they exit that corner on short. Very heads-up play for OC. It's Liquid up a man after all, despite tabseN's opening kill. Big cannot celebrate for long. They're almost forced into this B-bomb site with no map control in a 3-on-3. That is not a favorable fight for Big.
Not one bit. Yakinda was waiting with util pulled, but gonna look to lob that in. The nade will find Process, and he takes it one step further with the rifle in hand. Just tabseN left, opened up this round. For Big on Mirage, he was one of the saving grace players. This is demanding a lot. Very experienced player. We've seen tabseN deliver miracles. Swan V2 could be another example of that. tabseN will do it to him. Look at him go. You put him on his own, and the captain will deliver. Beautiful scenes.
Yeah, rely on him for a reason, right? When we've hit these crunch time moments in this series, it has been tabseN, who started very quiet at the top of the day, to come in with some incredible rounds with Big needed.
There's always a tap in a tabseN punch as well, isn't there, man? Like, it's so beautiful. That shot on a Patsy. Once more, it's one of those rounds where Liquid don't even realize they're losing it until it's already been lost. tabseN plays that like a mastermind. That is, you know, the experience shining through on this guy.
Oh, and now Sensei with an opener. It's all changed here at the end of the half. A Big 5 rounds might just be enough. Sensei tries to get them there with a 5-on-4. tabseN reigniting the light in Big.
I mean, that's been his whole mission statement his whole career, is bringing the fire to German Counter-Strike, right? And sometimes it takes tabseN to have a round like that to reinvigorate the squad. It was his high-flying ace back on Mirage that really looked like it took him to new heights. And here on Overpass, that 1v2 to now stand the chance of a 5-round T-site, which honestly, yeah, you know, you probably would have wanted a little more out of it, but it's not that bad. It's workable. You can do something with it. You're no longer dead in the water at the mercy of Liquid, and they hit the perfect timing here. Yakinda, clear misread on where they could even be in this round.
They walked the whole way in. They were so deep there. I can barely blame him, but nades out on the rotate. Gets what he paid for. And Liquid, time to accept your fate. There's more re-smokes and Molotovs to come through. Big. A very slow start to this third map, but still believing yet. Fighting for 5 and fighting to survive here in the play-in. Liquid will have to get it done on the T side instead. NAF just delaying the inevitable. But Big are here to battle back, and that is a good sign given how this map started.
Once you get that bomb down, where are you going? You don't have nades to help reposition on the site or get into better post-plant positions. Monty's struggling to figure this out right now on their map pick. And for Furia, I think Monty are actually just kind of playing into the hands of this double AWP setup right now. I think it's great for Furia that they've got Fallen and ARP both on the AWP. The utility has not been good enough to counter them. Sure, Fallen gets picked in that round, but saw how difficult it was for Monty to actually get much control of the site with the lack of util. Had a bit of an awkward buy for Monty. A couple of players getting AKs, but largely just trying to half buy into this one. Keep some money in the bank.
Monty's winningest map. 77%, 13 maps played last 3 months. It is a juicy map for them. And now though, they appear to be the great between the fingers of Furia. Fallen will raise the alarm as he focuses on Palace. He has a gap now as ball will spread through the ramp. A faster round from Monty than his slow ones have not been successful. That was a rare miss from Fallen. How's he not getting this tag onto Krasnov? He moved before he shot that third one. He is really in bullet time, Krasnov. I don't know how he managed to block that bomb. But this might be a round for Monty. Case Raptor will be in that jungle position. Orc versus a scout, but still 5 Monty players are standing. Krasnov with 3 HP in the sandwich for the time being. Now the numbers start to emerge, and Furia are getting shut down. This is a very expensive round for them, and this is exactly the round that Monty needed, the specific round. If they can take everything away from Furia here, it would be wonderful, but Art's a hard man to frag. And in true Furia style, he refuses to leave.
He'll take that at least, saving the AWP. But that's just a big switch up from Monty, and I wonder if it comes from the timeout. If it comes from LMBT telling the team, listen, these slow plays aren't working. Let's just call something earlier in the round. Make sure we have those smokes on air.
How is he dodging those rounds?
I don't know.
Honestly.
I think Fallen just kept flicking like this.
Stages do not get bigger than this.
tabseN giving it all he has to find 5 for big at the end of this first half. Liquid up in the lead as they sit on double digits. They had a huge lead back on Mirage. They had all the advantages and they weren't able to close it out. Is that looking to happen again, or will Liquid course correct and continue battling through the IEM Cologne play-ins? We're about to find out as we get ready to head in to the last half of this BO3 series.
Yeah, it's been a barn burner. It's had some insane rounds, some crazy clutches, most of which coming from the captain of Liquid. We need him to lead them to victory right now on this T side, or this would be a devastating exit for the tournament. For Big, would hurt to see them fall on home soil, but it can't be anything but expected given the roster woes this team entered with off the back of the Meister shaft.
Yeah, you know, I think if anything, it's going to feel more bittersweet now because of how close this series has been, right? So you almost hope that Big can find something to latch onto here in this second half. They've got a CT side ahead of them and a Liquid squad that look to play this pistol in a similar vein to how Big did in this first half. It's a creep up the long side. Big have responded to this by keeping bodies back inside of A, just playing the info game as tabseN. So he'll be the one calling these rotates between either site. In the meantime, I think it's important to keep our eye on Sid as well, who's got this space down in the connector. He could serve to complicate matters later in the round, whether that's Liquid going down into him or him coming in on a flank. It looks like it's going to be the former, so the Doolies have to hold the line, and it's only one from the con man of Big.
Could have been a lot worse though. He was looking the wrong way as they entered. Process gets the spot on the site. He's got tabseN right behind him as well, but Liquid are closing the distance. They get this very far up block as well. tabseN's about to get blindsided. There's the entry kill. Process needs something more, and one will not cut it as Liquid slice their way through the A site and get this bomb planted soon enough. Although they're going to get run at, they're not going to get the respect. And Patsy close in the corner denies both as they go through the smoke. 11-5, saved by the bell. That's such an important pistol round, even at this scoreline. If Liquid lose that, it can close up so quickly on Overpass. Instead, they're left with the tough task of eco or force. Both have their arguments to be made. And Big want to wield weapons soon, so Scout out.
gonna have a chance to put these scouts to work over in mid. Sensei is even holding for this little check, but he still isn't able to win it. Yakindar swiftly deals with the scout over at Divider. And so that, you know, there was quite a bit riding on that little opener there. It looked like Sensei had the drop on him. Just falling shy of it. Now, you know, your hope of winning this 4-spy is severely diminished. Big might feel that pressure to lean into a bit of a gamble here. Or make a play for some info. They pulled the second man up over towards A. This splits the defense 2-2.
No!
Okay, that's a nice one from Tabson. That is a very nice shot from Tabson. This was going to be the problem. All across the map, his teammates are falling like flies. Tabson's Deagle. More is required from it if Big wants to find a way in this round. Sees one at long, but he can't deal with Yakindar, who's aggressing up through short. And just like that, Liquid, they're on to 12. They find this conversion, and now they've only got pistols to go up against in the next. They're going to reach 13 as Big have their first rifle round.
Yeah. 21-6 on Yakindar. Just having a mental day in the office.
Dude, I mean, he's been fantastic all damn day. Just so good in clutches especially. But, I mean, even in finding impact right at the start of rounds, he's been fantastic there. And, you know, for me, I think that's one of the most impressive things as to how Big have even made this a 3-map series is, you know, back at Blast, back in Copenhagen, when we were looking at it there, you were looking at the numbers that Yakindar was putting up, and he very much wasn't the guy in the limelight required to do that. Here, though, he was playing really well. You had good performances from NAF across the other maps, and Rainwaker was looking really solid. It felt like you had all the pieces for Liquid showing up. And so, if anything, I think it's almost to Big's credit that in spite of Yakindar playing so well, we've ended up going the distance. But it is very cool to see that Yakindar still has this in him.
Yeah. Just the sheer entry power. When you put Patsy alongside him, this team just does have a lot of opening, aggressive players, a lot of options. Just need them all to be hitting here, considering this is supposed to be the warm-up for Liquid and the play-in. Sure, again, as you know, you can give the caveat to Liquid if they were to lose here in the play-in that, yeah, this is a new team. They haven't quite found their form or footing. They don't know exactly, how they want to be doing this. But at the same time, just going off for those recent, wow, that's a wallbang, recent results, we saw them take down some titans of Counter-Strike. So, winning these games are a must for Liquid, especially with the goals that this team has set out, right? They want to be title contenders, they want to be trophy takers. And maybe you would look at the roster and be surprised by that statement with players that you might not have seen before in Rainwaker and Patsy, who kind of went missing after Spirit's initial climb to the top 10. But I think that there's great potential in this roster when they are all hitting. And right now on this final map of the series, Liquid are in form. Let's see if they stay there. 13-5, win this round and you are as good as done.
Yeah, Big are aware of that pressure as well, right? They know